The latest UN report demands unprecedented emissions cuts to salvage climate goals. But before we get into that, what we once called the Google Chromecast and then the Chromecast with Google TV is now the Google TV Streamer. We won't pretend to understand the reasoning behind any product's rebrand, but at least this one makes a bit of sense. Casting content from elsewhere used to be a big reason TV dongles existed. Today, streaming devices primarily provide the brains required to watch content from Netflix, Disney Plus, and other streaming services on almost any screen, and casting is a bit of an afterthought. A name that focuses on Google TV's interface instead of casting seems right in 2024. This is Google's first true set-top box, joining the non-dongle ranks of the Roku Ultra, the Apple TV 4K, and Amazon's Fire TV Cube. The Google TV Streamer is only available in a 4K configuration, and once the backstock of Chromecast units sell out, it'll be Google's only streamer, period. While that makes the lineup far simpler than, say, Amazon's bloated Fire TV device catalog, it also means you have to pay the 4K premium, even if you only have an HD TV. That said, the streamer is a full-featured, competent device with an interface that's better than most at pulling together all the disparate threads of a streaming experience. Add in perks like useful smart home integration and some fun-to-have AI smarts, and the $100 streamer fairly earns its price tag. Check out our full review of the Google TV Streamer at Engadget.com. The United Nations Environmental Program has released a new report with yet more dire news about our odds of avoiding climate disaster caused by greenhouse gas emissions. According to this assessment, the current trajectory of international commitments will see the planet's temperature increasing 2.6 degrees Celsius or more over the course of this century. That amount of temperature change would lead to more catastrophic and life-threatening weather events. UN members are due to submit their latest national determined contributions ahead of the COP30 conference in Brazil next year. The NDCs lay out each country's plan for reduced greenhouse gas emissions. One part of the NDCs are to reach the goal set by the Paris Agreement to limit global temperature increases to 1.5 degrees Celsius, and one part targets keeping global temperature increases to within a less ideal 2 degrees Celsius. While the report says it is technically possible to reach the Paris Agreement goal, much larger actions will be required to cut emissions by the necessary amount. Increased deployment of solar photovoltaic technologies and wind energy could deliver 27% of the total emission reduction potential in 2030 and 38% in 2035. The report gives as an example of what's still needed. Action on forests could deliver around 20% of the potential in both years. Every fraction of a degree avoided counts in terms of lives saved, economies protected, damages avoided, biodiversity conserved, and the ability to rapidly bring down any temperature overshoot, UN Environmental Program Executive Director Inger Anderson wrote in the report's foreword. International collaboration, government commitments, and financial contributions will also be essential for getting back on track to either the 2-degree or 1.5-degree goals. G20 nations, particularly the largest emitting members, would need to do the heavy lifting, the report reads. If all of this sounds familiar, that's probably because the UN has issued the same stark warnings in each of its annual reports on emissions for several years now. And other reports have echoed their calls, such as damning findings earlier this year that just 57 companies are responsible for 80% of carbon dioxide emissions worldwide. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Today's show featured journalism by Engadget contributor Anna Washenko and was produced by Spoken Layer. I'm Imran Sheikh, and as always, we'll talk more tomorrow.
Spoken Layer.